With each new Tekken game, the roster of characters keeps growing, making for a huge and diverse group of fighters, each with their own distinct style and role in the story. With that being said though, while everyone adores iconic characters such as Jin and Kazuya, there have unfortunately been a few fighters who have gone under the radar for one reason or another. This is understandable for characters who are meant to be quick jokes, like Gon from Tekken 3, but there are others who are more developed and well-written, but don't get as much appreciation from fans. These Tekken characters listed below are particular examples of individuals who are usually overlooked, but that deserve a lot more credit. Leo arrived in a pretty awkward spot in the series, first being introduced in Tekken 6, where he was largely overshadowed by other exciting newcomers like Miguel and Zafina, who have both gone on to become fan favorites since they made their debuts. Leo's actual involvement in the story of that game is also pretty minimal, but regardless, he's still a very intriguing individual who actually has a very interesting backstory, with Leo seeking the truth behind his mother's mysterious death. A big reason why the Tekken series has maintained such immense popularity is because of the character diversity, with each fighter feeling like they're from completely different games. But Yoshimitsu is truly something else altogether. Despite being an original character who has appeared in every game since the very first, the spectacle of Yoshi being this weird and exaggerated alien-like character has unfortunately started to dwindle over the years. Yoshimitsu is still as wacky as ever, and with every game, he receives an extensive new makeover that keeps his design from ever becoming boring or bland. He also has one of, if not the most unorthodox fighting style in the entire game, and although some people write it off as being impractical, he can easily get under the skin of his opponent with his strange movements and ridiculous postures. Although Kuma started off as somewhat of a joke character who was viewed by many to be too slow and cumbersome to use in battle, over the years, Harada and the team have actually turned him into a powerful fighter who's even received his fair share of character development. As Hayachi's pet, he gradually learned the fighting style of his master, and as the games went on, more and more of Hayachi's moves would become integrated into Kuma's moveset. Although she may seem a little irritating at first, Elisa is still, without a doubt, one of the most unique and creative fighters in the entire series, since she's an android. Elisa is able to install new weapons into her body, and can even tear off her own limbs to use during combat. In Tekken 8, she even uses her own head as a soccer ball, which is a prime example of just how ridiculous but also fun. She may have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at first, but Elisa still plays a pretty important role in Tekken's story. Julia is another fighter who has appeared in the majority of the Tekken games. But despite this, she's very rarely seen being used, even when she was brought in as a DLC character for Tekken 7. She's quite relevant to the wider story, and her fighting style, which is a mixture of wrestling moves and Chinese martial arts, is a ton of fun to play around with and very hard for her opponents to predict. Julia may seem like nothing more than a basic Michelle clone, but she's actually a very well-written character who may potentially make a grand return as a DLC character in Tekken 8 later. Which character is your favorite from this list, and which character you hate most? Comment down. Let me know in comment section.